don't know where the hell people's logic is. There's a lady that said, I'd rather be single than have a man pay half of my bills. I said, your mother and father messed up with you. They fumbled so bad. Like I'm talking about, you were the kid that was dropped from the top bunk. You know, we used to do top bunks. You fell from the top bunk too many times because something is wrong with your brain. That don't make no goddamn sense. That don't make no goddamn sense. And the sad part is most relationships today are definitely 50-50. Everyone can't stop watching celebrities, man. They gotta stop watching celebrities. Celebrities are brainwashing y'all. You got men that are scared to get married who don't have nothing, talk about they don't want to lose their stuff. You gonna lose your bike? You gonna lose your bike. You gonna lose your whole bike. Come on. You gonna lose your bicycle. Like, come on. Guys, we gotta get out of this weirdness. Our culture is getting weirder and weirder and weirder and weirder. We are weird as hell.
Welcome to the Don't Let That Go Over Your Head podcast, starring Q the Boss.
Yo, 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 yo. Welcome back to another episode of Don't Let That Go Over Your Head podcast. They call me Q the Boss. I'm excited today, guys. You know why? Because I realize that a lot of people think people are foolish. They think a lot of people are slow. They think a lot of people aren't intelligent, and a lot of people can't see the obvious. We're hiding behind the mirror because we don't like to look in the mirror to see the ultimate reflection of the ugly character that we've created. A character that lies to themselves, a character that's inconsistent, a character that won't hold himself accountable, a character that always have an excuse. When you look at this character, this is the ultimate mindset for failure. A lot of people are failing because of this character that they've created. The other day I was having a conversation with a homeboy, and I said, you know something funny? Your family you can't choose. He said, yeah, I agree. I said, but the one thing you have to learn is the one person you can choose is your wife. And the sad part is, a lot of people get into relationships with liabilities. Let me say this to my ladies. Ladies, the one person in life you get to choose as your family is your mate. And if you're choosing a liability, you'll realize why you're losing. We're jumping in beds with liabilities. And then we're not holding ourselves accountable for the decisions that we make. A lot of times, we don't hold ourselves accountable. I will say this again. Ladies and gentlemen, the one family member you get to choose is your husband and your wife. So if you choose a bad husband or a bad wife, then you have to realize that you've chosen a liability which ultimately kept you in the gutters that you've been in your whole life. I can't fault someone who's not using logic, but I can fault someone who is using logic. You gotta use logic to assess common sense, right? When I ask people all the time, who are you trying to fool? We dress up struggle to look like it's not struggle, but in reality we're struggling, but it looks better to look like we're not struggling, ultimately staying in the same struggle mindset because it is easier to look like you're not in struggle when you are in struggle. We don't know the difference between winning and surviving. We mastered survival to the point where we haven't learned what winning is. Our culture is comfortable with pretending to be something we're not. It's sickening when you hear men and women thinking they don't need each other, but yet and still we at the financial bottom of the totem pole. We at the bottom of the barrel financially, but don't believe we need each other. If you think this is normal, then you're clearly the problem. We're so insecure when it comes to having these kind of conversations to the point that it's easier to tell people what they want to hear opposed to telling them what they need to hear. I believe that most people in this culture today have something called selective hearing. They hear what they want to hear, and when things don't go the way they want to go, therefore they don't hear what they need to hear. You can give yourself a whole disability because you can hear what you need. You cannot hear what you need to hear and also see what you not need to see. When you need to see what you need to see, you need to see it. It's sad that so many people got to learn the hard way when life has always been meant for you to learn from the mistakes of others. But it seems like we are comfortable with losing and learning from our own mistakes. I'm going to tell you something. The people that tend to learn from their own mistakes are the most ignorant people on earth. Because I'm not going to burn my hand after I seen you burn your hand thinking that the stove is cooled off. Meanwhile, you just burnt your hand on that same stove. I think that is diabolical. That is diabolical. All you have to do is mirror success, and success will ultimately come. 9 out of 10 times, people that are financially secure are very financially responsible. 9 out of 10 times, people that are doing well with a family, they learn something called a constructive criticism, and they learn how to take constructive criticism without being feeling insecure when a conversation comes that's about building you. You have to ultimately establish something. When someone comes to tell you something, it's 2 types of people. One is a person that identifies this person is coming to tell me something to help me become better. The second person is the person that's coming because they're trying to hurt me. Once you can establish that the person is not trying to hurt you, why are you so damn defensive? Why are you so defensive? And this is what our culture has become, to the point where we're very defensive. We'll spend hours of our time listening to foolishness, but won't spend hours of our time learning from something greater. Go look at how many people will binge watch Netflix but won't binge watch financial literacy. Somebody called me the other day, said, yo, do you watch Stranger Things? I said, I watch Money Things. Do you watch Stranger Things? I said, no, I watch Money Things. Stranger Things ain't gonna retire me. Nothing against Stranger Things, but in the same breath, you have to be focused on the things. You have to discipline yourself. If you had a good week of you being productive, then you can give yourself some level of entertainment. Because there are 2 E's, right? Most people value something called entertainment. Most people don't value the other E, which is called education. Entertainment and education is the reason why you see most people fail. Most people learn from being entertained now. You heard that. Most people learn from being entertained. And then the person that's online that's telling you what you want to hear is because he understands you want to be entertained. So therefore, he's telling you something that he knows is not true because he knows your mind is going to gravitate towards it because it's entertaining. You're getting dating advice from someone that has never been married. You're getting financial advice from someone who still lives with their parents and still hasn't figured it out. This is the new nuance of the culture. Everyone asks me, how do you become a millionaire? Then you have to create something that's worth millions. The chances of you working for $1 million is slim to none. People that overvalue their jobs are such fools. You're supposed to go to your job, get your check, and go to hell home. And when you don't realize that if a day goes by where you're not putting no energy towards that $1 million dream, that means you have a dollar mindset. If every day goes by and you haven't put no energy towards your $1 million dream, that means you have a dollar mindset. And the chances are you have a dollar result, because your results are a reflection of the fact that you're not even putting your energy into the things that could be potentially changing your positioning. How are you going to change your positioning when you're sitting at the same positioning, waiting for the positioning to change without doing anything to change your positioning? We're talking logic. How the hell are you going to change your positioning when you're sitting there worrying about your positioning changing, but yet and still in the same breath, you haven't done anything to change your positioning? Who are you trying to fool? Who the hell are you trying to fool? We lie to ourselves and then we want to argue with other people. When I see sassy men arguing with me about the fact that a woman has her feelings and you know that, and yet still you arguing with it, that means you worse than her. Look at that logic. I'm just telling you logic. But somebody gonna get offended. Oh my God, he's talking about men. Man, grow up, man. Come on, brothers. We got to get secure with ourselves, man. Man, we got to get secure with ourselves. Because if you don't get secure with yourself, you're never going to ever be able to become the best version of yourself. Every man that is the best version of themselves, they're super secure with themselves. You know how secure a woman has to be financially secure, but yet and still be submissive? That is the illest woman on earth. To be a submissive, secure woman, meaning you have your own, but you're still so secure with yourself that you're comfortable with a man leading. You know how ill she is? When we're grown, we realize what comes with being grown is called bills. When a man and a woman is crying about bills, it's because of the fact that these men and women still want to be children. The day you become an adult is the day you don't understand that you have to pay bills. It's a part of being an adult. The whole concept of paying bills is creating a system so therefore you can navigate easier towards your bills. Every month to month, you create a system, ultimately getting to a level where the bills become easier. Because I'm going to tell you something. If you're fooling yourself, if you believe that life is going to change, if you ain't done nothing to change it, ain't nothing going to change unless you do something to change it. Ain't nothing going to change. So you can sit there for the next 20 years, 30 years, crying about bills, but in reality, you're still going to wake up with them goddamn bills. Ain't nothing going to change. So it's weird when you listen to men and women crying about things that they know is naturally there. You're fighting about being short when you're going to die short. It don't make sense. Accept who you are and just love yourself for who you are. Because I'm going to tell you something. Every time you look around the room, I realized that I had to stop pretending to be others because everybody else is taken, and I had to learn how to just become myself. And the faster you learn how to become yourself, the faster you'll start accepting yourself, ultimately becoming the best version of yourself. That is the whole mission. See, the problem is, I'm going to tell y'all something, and this is me being vulnerable as hell right now. Watch this. I want y'all to stay with me. It was never about becoming rich. Initially, I thought life was about getting rich. But I'm going to tell y'all something. I want everybody to hear this on my live. The fun part about becoming successful is the journey to becoming successful. When you get to successful, this is why you see so many successful people crash out and not happy. Because they miss the journey to getting there. When things get too easy, life gets too boring. What makes you so motivated is the fact of the journey. So if you don't appreciate your journey, you're never going to understand or appreciate and enjoy the reasoning for you even being there. This is why people are weird. You get successful and forget what was the purpose. What was your reasoning? The journey is the most valuable time when you're pursuing the greatest version of self. When you start learning that, you start appreciating it more. For a minute, I didn't appreciate or understand that it was the journey that I needed to hold on to keep me grounded. Remembering where you've been, because they say if you forget where you've been, you damn sure going backwards. If you forget where you've been, you're going backwards. A lot of people forget where they've been. They haven't humbled themselves to learn that this is a part of the story. Let me enjoy every moment, every second, every chapter. Remember when you was in that gym for my guys and ladies that work out, and you say you want to hit that number, and you hit that number, and you worked hard to get to that number? That was the moments, that climax, when you hit that damn number. That's what life is about. Forcing yourself to become greater. Challenging yourself to believe that you can do more. But when you don't accept the fact that it's a journey, it's a test, it's steps, it's not just jump to success, then you'll never be successful. To my people that have that microwave mentality, ask them. The recipe they keep putting in the microwave, it don't taste good. Because you're trying to instantly cook things that takes time to build. You have to build the recipe. It takes time. It takes diligence. It takes discipline. It takes consistency. But a lot of people are so inconsistent, you can be so inconsistent that you think you're consistent. A lot of people are inconsistently consistent. They think that let me say this again. There are a lot of people that are inconsistently consistent, and they believe that they're consistent. Because I'm going to tell you something. The one thing about the human brain, you can fool yourself to believe that you're doing more than what you're actually doing. You can fool yourself into believing that you're doing way more than you're actually doing. And that's the issue with a lot of people. A lot of people believe that they're doing more than what they're doing. I know sometimes you listen to some people, they say things like, yo, I want to be rich, I'm going to blow up. And when I sit there and listen to them, I'm going to tell you something. This is just like it is. It's like taking a video and throwing it up on YouTube and expecting to blow up. That's how not putting any work is. You know how many people upload videos on YouTube every day? Let's just say 1 million people upload videos every day. The chances of your video blowing up is slim to none. Every day somebody's uploading a song. Every day somebody's uploading a beat. Every day somebody's uploading things on Instagram. Just imagine how many people post on Instagram a day. Just imagine. Let's take stories. Let's take actual gallery. Let's take all of these things and see how many people are trying to blow up. But I ask somebody this question. How many people are sacrificing? How many people are consistently putting in the work? How many people are willing to lose sleep? How many people always make excuses about the fact that they're tired? I'm gonna tell you something. I've been so tired so long, I don't even realize I'm tired anymore. I've been so tired so goddamn long, I don't even realize I'm tired. I'm the guy that comes in 5 in the morning to jump on a podcast like it never happened. After coming from work. I'm that guy. So when a person tells me they're tired, I tell them, you don't want to be successful. You don't want to be successful. Because I'm going to tell you something, sleepless nights come with the success thing. Sleepless nights come with the success thing, right? Second guessing yourself comes with this success thing, right? Losing people comes with the success thing, right? Everyone is not meant to build and believe in your story. But the reality is, the sad part is the person that's the author of their story is sad when they don't even believe their goddamn story. That's the problem. When the author of your story, which is you, don't even believe in your own goddamn story. That's the problem. When you don't believe that your something is going to be so great and you're manifesting something great because you know you're putting in work. The other day I had to tell a guy, I said, you don't believe in God. He said, why? I said, because you told me you believe in God, but every time you turn around, you question him. He said, what do you mean? I said, if God tells us faith without the work is dead, meaning faith without the work means nothing. If you believe that you're going to be successful, why do you keep questioning God for when? God said just do the work. And a lot of us are scared to do the work because we want what we want when we want, how we want it when we want it. And that's not how life operates. Life don't operate on your timeline. 1 minute we say God's speed, the next minute we say our speed. 1 minute you say God's speed, and the next minute you say our speed. My speed, right? There's no such thing. Because I'm going to tell you something, the moments I stopped working hard was the moments things started going backwards. When you realize it, take success like this. You ever push something, and at first when you start pushing it, it's hard to push? But after you start pushing it, you got something called momentum, and it gets easier pushing it? Imagine being on a hill, and you're pushing something up the hill. But every time you stop, the momentum to get back to pushing it is even harder. That's exactly what success is like. It's being on a hill, pushing up the hill, and then stopping, and then realizing it's harder to get back that momentum. So the discipline factor of success is keeping that momentum, ultimately driving yourself to the finish line. A lot of people don't have that discipline. You start questioning yourself. Because again, you give yourself timelines. The worst thing you could be is on your timeline. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as your own timeline. Just do the goddamn work and the results gonna come. A lot of people don't understand that factor. Just do the damn work. Stop worrying about when. And stop worrying about if I'm doing it. Because I'm gonna tell you something, on your journey of becoming, you're practicing becoming. Because I'm gonna tell you, while you becoming, this is the most humblest days of your life. These are the most humblest days of your life. You're gonna see who's in it to win it and who's in it because they just wanna be a part of something. You're gonna see who's who. I was just telling Tyler earlier, when I had a company called Bank Camp, we came outside with 1,000 people. And then certain nights, things weren't going the way we wanted. Some people stayed, some people left. But the one thing we did, we kept going. Because it's not about nobody. If you believe in something, you don't quit, you don't submit, you don't stop, you keep going. That is the difference between a winner and a loser. A loser loses because they give up at that last second when they could have won. A winner, when that time when he thought about giving up, that winner decided to keep going. That's the difference between a winner and a loser. A winner finds momentum to continue to go. A loser finds momentum to stop. That's the difference. So when you have a winner and you have a loser, it's just the person that had the different mentality to say, when I'm losing, I'm going to still keep going. That's the difference of a winner and a loser. Because a winner don't see losing as a loss. They see it as a lesson. So when they become the winner, they're prepared because they learned the lesson from the losing. That's all it is, the difference. It's two different mindsets. It's how you perceive it and your perception of life, right? I ask people every day, who are you trying to fool, man? Who you trying to fool? Young man asked me the other day, he said, Q, how do one become rich? I said, act broke. Live broke. He looked at me and said, what? I don't want to live like that. I said, that's why you broke. I'm going to say it again. He asked me, Q, How do you get rich? I said, act like you broke. He said to me, what? I don't want to do that. I said again to him, that's why you're broke. It's really that simple. The people that you see that don't have anything, they live beyond their means. And the sad part is they want people to perceive that they're in a position that they're not. One thing about life, if you continue to pretend if you're in a position that you're not, you're gonna start moving as if you're in a position that you're not. Never getting to the position that you could be in because you keep telling yourself that you're in a position that you're not. Did you understand that statement? If a person keeps telling themselves they're in a position they're not, they're gonna start believing they're in a position, ultimately behaving like they're in a position that they're not, thinking that they're in this position that they're not. It's that simple. But if you notice, I'm gonna ask y'all something. Everybody I know, right? Everybody in my life, think about the wealthiest person you personally know. I'm not talking about people that make money. There's a difference of making money and having money. It's two different things. There are people that make money, and there are people that actually have money. We're talking about the people that actually have money. Everybody I know that have money, they're very frugal. They're very, very cheap. This is why they have money. And everyone I know that don't have money, they're very reckless with their money. It's really that simple. For my people on live, do you agree with that statement? Everyone you know, well, everyone I know, I don't know about you guys, but everyone I know, what you say? Maybe we're gonna see. Someone said big facts. What you got, Walter? I'm listening to you. No, I agree. See, the problem is, I'm gonna just say this on record. And this is what we have conversations and they go left, right? I don't believe you. Like I said, it's definitely not true. But the people that act like they don't have money are the ones that have more money. We're not talking about the billionaires and the trillionaires and the 100,000aires and the people that generationally inherited money. We're talking about the people that are building from scratch. Everybody that's building from scratch, they act like they don't have money so they can build and have more money. But the people that have a head start, I don't look at those people. They're exceptions to the rule. Average person is not inheriting anything. 9 out of 10 people are starting at the back of the race. Most people do not start at the top of the race because if that was true, then we'll have more than 1% of the country wealthy. Only 1% of the country's been wealthy since the beginning of time. So therefore, 99% of the people are starting at the back of the race. You lucky if you could ever inherit a home today. You lucky. But when we take these false statistics and we make these things our feelings, then we have a problem. Most people are not going to inherit anything. And most people that want to build anything are going to have to be disciplined with the little bit that they do have. And that's a fact. You got to live within your means. I don't know why social media made you have a culture that you feel like you got to go out to eat every goddamn weekend. You order food. Yo, the other day, the little kid, his father showed him, right, how much money he spent on his Uber Eats app and his Grubhub app. Diabolical. Yo, he spends about $750 a month. $750 a month just eating out. $750 a month. You see this narrative? He's paying for a luxury car with food. Right? Which one you want to read? Justin, online. U.S. Black Friday sale reached a record $11.8 billion, up from 9.1% from last year. You see that? This is why everybody broke. Did you see what they did with the whole Black Friday thing? Black Friday's in what, November, right? October and September, they start putting a number, right? And a month before it, they slash it. But it's the same exact price. All that is called that's custom manipulation. They're manipulating you, making you believe that you're getting a deal that you're not actually getting, right? And 9 out of 10 times, most people are going to buy something they didn't need because they see something called sale. They're going to buy something they don't need. Live within your means, and your means will grow. Live within your means, and your means will grow. Because if you don't live within your means, you're going to live beyond your means, and you're never going to grow. It's like trying to eat from a garden you never planted anything in. And that's our culture. Like, you sit back and evaluate people, people always have these little weird feelings and opinions, and it's disgusting. And it don't be true. A lot of people are really wasteful when it comes to their little bit of resources. Because if you're bad with little money, you're going to be bad with big money. You don't change when you get more money. You get worse when you get more money. And everybody thinks all I got to do is make more money. No, you got to learn how to behave with the money you're currently making. If you're disciplined with the money you're making, you're going to ultimately have more money. And that's just reality. If you look at people who make very low wages and drive very fancy cars, you're at a deficit every month. You're like literally playing from behind. You're going into the fourth quarter of the game down by 100 points and expecting why you're going to lose. You're going to continue to lose because you're not changing the logic of your nature. You are actually catering towards the retailers who are making you something called the consumer, because there's three mentalities that an individual can have. One mentality is a consumer or a retailer. One thing about the retailer, he makes the money off the consumer, so therefore he wants you to be a consumer. So what the retailer does is program a mentality to believe that you're nothing unless you have my retail items. And the retailer gets something from something called a wholesaler, and he marks up the price for retail and ultimately make money off of you. Right? The second mentality we can have is something called a tenant. You have a landlord, you have a tenant. The landlord ain't gonna teach the tenant how to be successful. The landlord makes money off of the tenant. So therefore, the landlord wants you to stay in their living situation, ultimately paying into their equity, funding their life, and living off of you. And the last mentality we can have is either an employee or an employer. Most people have something called an employee mentality. And who makes money off the employee? The employer. The employer sits at home while they're fishing, and you're the one that's slaving at their job to make them more wealthy. And you fight all year long for a 50-cent raise. You fight all year long for a 50-cent raise. I'm going to tell y'all something. I want y'all to hear this good. Listen to this. Somebody take out their calculator. Let's just say something costs $1,000, right? Something costs $1,000. Divide that by 20. 50. When you buy something at $1,000 and you make $20 an hour without taxes, you sold 50 hours of your life for that $1,000 item. You work for 50 hours. I don't know if y'all understand this. If you start looking at purchasing things with that mentality, it'll start making you respect money a little bit more. Look at that again. You spent $1,000 on an item. Let's just say hypothetically, after taxes, you go home with $20 an hour. You spent 50 of your work hours on that $1,000 item. And it's a job that every day you say you hate. You hate this job, but every week you go to this job and you take the resources and you waste the resources, ultimately staying in this bad positioning. And then you complain about your positioning, but you're not doing anything to change your positioning, because the way you waste your resources is only going to keep you in the plantation forever. Damn. $50. Yo, you work 50 hours? To buy what? A pair of sneakers? That is diabolical. If y'all can't tell me that's not diabolical, someone call in right now. Let's talk about it. 516-253-1150. One more time, 516-253-1150. If you think about that narrative alone in itself, that'll make me change my whole premise. I think the reasoning why most people are broke is because they don't respect money. If you don't respect money, money won't respect you. I tell people it's not that I can't afford it. It's that I'm not going to waste it on something I don't really need. When you learn your needs and your wants, you already change your mentality. Most people live in their wants opposed to their needs. I need water. I need somewhere to live. I need food in my stomach. I need to make sure my children are safe and comfortable and taken care of. I want a mansion. I want a Ferrari. I want these things. That doesn't mean you have to have those things. Because I'm going to tell you something. The one thing you'll realize that money can't buy is peace. Money can't buy peace. And a lot of times the people that have these luxury lifestyles, they're not at peace. They're always worrying about the next bill. Every single month to month to month to month, always worrying about the next bill. And this is a mentality that we have to learn, that in order for you to get off this hamster wheel, you got to get off the hamster mentality. The hamster wheel and the hamster mentality, they coincide with each other. Most people that you see that have a hamster wheel lifestyle, they have a hamster mentality lifestyle. They live beyond their means. They're extravagant. They talk about vacations and everything. Meanwhile, sometimes you just might need a staycation. You don't have to waste no resources. Every year, people get something called an income tax check. And by the time they get the income tax check, the income tax check is gone. Because who are you trying to fool? Living for people is the worst thing a person can live for. You living for people, the acceptance. 9 out of 10 people that come to your funeral ain't gonna even care that you in a casket. Right? This is what we gotta realize. Somebody said, I didn't get a check, I had to pay. Me too. I always gotta pay taxes. But again, this is a mentality we have to learn how to change. If we don't see that we're trying to fool ourselves and live a lifestyle, because most of us have so much access to celebrities that we start to think we're celebrities. We was in the studio the other day, I'm blowing out, I don't care if she hear this too. We in the studio the other day, right? And I'm snitching. I don't care if she get mad. There's a lady in the studio, right? And she has a lot of followers on Instagram. So one of my guys was like, yo, you should get her you should get her Instagram because of the fact that she has a lot of followers on social media. I said, I don't really care. There's nothing on her page that I'm interested in, one. Secondly, she's very bougie for a girl that doesn't have anything. She has a great following, but she doesn't have anything. But she's so sedity and think that she's such God's gift to earth that I was like, yo, I bet you if you go follow her to her home and see where she live at, she probably live in a house with a bunch of content creators who are living paycheck to paycheck. You know, most people in New York, I'm just gonna blow them up, they live in a room and they share quarters and spaces because they can't afford to live on their own. But if you see them online, they look like they lit and they living great. And I'm not knocking nobody in their living situation, but let's not create a false reality, start acting like you're somebody you're not, just because you have a lot of followers online. You fooled them, you can't fool me. I'm not fooled. And secondly, her sedity self, I didn't like the high sedity mentality that she has because I have 8 times more than her and I don't act like her. And that's what kills me when you're dealing with certain people. They're so arrogant, but yet still they can't match you dollar for dollar nor resource for resource, but they still act so arrogant. For a guy like me who's humble and I'm sitting in a room with somebody that I know I have more than, and you acting like you're God's gift to earth because you fooled people online to believe that you're something you're not. It's like when the person that puts on the makeup, they look better with the makeup. But imagine if they saw you without the makeup. We just talking logic. But again, I ask every day, why are we trying to fool the world? Why are we not trying to enhance our situations? Because I'm gonna tell y'all something. Sitting on your hands for 3 to 6 years is gonna be 3 to 6 years wasted. But putting your head down, working hard, saving, and investing your money for 3 to 6 years, you can change your life. I could be the guy on this podcast talking about yo, you can change your life overnight and giving you something called clickbait. I give you something called real bait. I don't do clickbait. I give you something called real bait. I don't sit here and do the cappy and telling you can buy a house with no money down. That's cap. I don't do that because I don't feel good lying to make myself feel like I'm telling something to a person that's naive or they're not matured or seasoned on the topic, and then you're giving them false knowledge. And then guess what they do? They regurgitate this false knowledge and then they push it to somebody else to the point where people are starting to regurgitate this faulty knowledge. It's all cap. But they do it because of the fact that they know somebody's gonna believe it. They know somebody's gonna believe it. Our culture has to literally learn how to move forward. Every time we have these conversations, and I want y'all to answer this. What's going on? Somebody said to me, what is the number one issue you see with the culture in America? I said, the issue I see is every time we talk about the problem, there's never a solution to back the problem. So a guy asked me the other day, and I'm gonna be honest and fair in this topic, might get a little touchy, but guess what? I don't care. Somebody asked me, do I think foreign blacks think different from American blacks? I'm asking y'all on my live right now. Do y'all think foreign blacks think different from American blacks or no? I'm asking y'all to see what y'all say. And this is not stirring up no controversy or no competitional thing. We just having a conversation. Somebody said, hell yeah. Somebody said yes. Somebody said yes. Somebody said yes. Somebody said 100%. Someone said they do. So now watch this narrative. And I want y'all to hear this good. Every time we talk about the problem, there's never a solution. Watch this. So the guy asked me the other day, what do I think American blacks can do today to make their life better? I said, okay, I've come to a conclusion. He said, what? Start thinking more like foreign blacks. Why do I say that? A lot of American blacks have something called very entitled mentalities. A lot of them won't work at certain jobs because they feel like it's beneath them. But in order to get somewhere, you have to start somewhere. The one thing I do understand and I respect about a lot of people who come to this country, they're willing to work anywhere and do what they have to do. I know an African guy, right? This guy used to ride a bike to work every day. Every day he used to ride a bike, right? In long term, I stopped seeing him. I was like, y'all don't be seeing this dude riding a bike no more. Every morning I used to speak to this dude. And all of a sudden he disappeared. One day I see him in the gym. And I said, yo, where you been? He said, oh, I closed on my house. Me and my wife got married. And if you look at a lot of these foreign cultures, they heavily still believe in marriage. Haitian cultures still believe in marriage, right? African cultures still believe in marriage. A lot of these foreign cultures, they still believe in family structure. But I'm not sitting here saying that black Americans don't think like that. I'm born here. But in the same breath, you see that the mentality they have is a lot different. And this is the reasoning why you can bring one over here in 5 years and he'd be more successful than somebody that's been here for 40. And I'm not gonna say it's a case-to-case basis, but a lot of them do very well because of the fact that they don't look at each other as competition. A lot of us see each other as competition to the point where two people in struggle will hold each other's legs and never grow when we could have got out the barrel together. But we won't get out the barrel together because we're too inferior to letting someone get out first. But in order to win, someone has to win first and help others win. We just talking logic. But again, our mentality is I'm not gonna support or help this person because I'm too uncomfortable with the fact that they're gonna take my spot. I'm gonna tell y'all something. God will never ever take something that's meant for you to give to somebody else unless he's gonna restore it. Let me say that again. God will never take nothing that's for you and give it to somebody else unless he's gonna restore it tenfold. He's gonna restore it. But our culture has this mentality where we so inferior to others winning. We hate it. I'm tired of hearing the Jews are very successful, but yet and still, you know they're successful and they're cheap, but yet and still, you don't want to be cheap. I'm cheap because I follow them. I don't care. I learn from other cultures. If a culture is doing something that I think is intelligent, I'm going to mirror it, especially if it gives a level of success. We're talking common sense. I've heard my whole damn life that Jewish people are cheap, and yet and still they're rich as hell. But yet and still black people can't get the logic. Ding, 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 lights should go off that if I'm cheap, I can become rich too. It's not rocket science, guys. It's not rocket science. I remember growing up, and I want y'all to be honest with me, right? You know, growing up, we as young people just wanted a job. You could have worked at McDonald's, you could have worked at IHOP, you could have worked anywhere, right? Nowadays, this new generation, these guys will laugh at you for working at a job. It's crazy how the mentality is. Yo, we used to be so hyped to get our little checks every week from our little jobs, just to have our little money in our pocket. No one will laugh at you for working at McDonald's. If we knew my homeboy worked at McDonald's, we was at the spot trying to get free food. I don't know. It's crazy how the mentality is. You know what I'm saying? But this is just the mentality that's changed. I don't know where the world is going, but I damn sure ain't going with it. Because I don't like what's going on. It's a lot of foolish delusion and sick mentalities that's being procreated in the culture to the point where our culture will be lost as if we're not already. We've even gotten more lost. We're going to continue to get more lost. Because every time we have this conversation, people get so offended when I bring up, do Americans think different from foreign blacks? They get mad as hell. They think way different. I'm sorry, they think different. It's just what it is. A guy can come across from El Salvador, right? Legit. Go to his family. They're going to put him up, help him build, and he's going to contribute, and they're going to build more. And that's legit. But you can have your uncle in the house who's been living in your grandmother's house for 30 years and don't want to pay no bills. It's just weird. And I'm not going to say that's everybody, but we got to get this culture away. If we don't push this culture away, that culture is going to start infecting a lot of other people. They're like vampires. They're like vampires. Yes, and the sad part is we got to acknowledge that black culture has multiple cultures in one culture. And I keep saying it every day. Everyone is not the same. I don't care because you're black, right? And I'm just going to be honest with you. Just because you're black don't mean you me. And I'm going to not say that. I'm not jacking no man that don't take care of his kids and say because he black, he me. I'm not jacking no woman who talking about she don't need a man and talking about she has a son in the room talking about I don't need a man, got her son thinking he ain't nobody. But not even teaching her son that he has value. If every day your son hear you talking about how men ain't this, men ain't that, every day your son hear and you think that, your son gonna grow up thinking that men have no value. And if a father every day talking about women ain't nothing every single day and this little girl hearing you say that, your daughter gonna grow up thinking that she's worthless. It's a sick mentality. Right? I said the other day to this lady, right? If somebody can come into your life and help with bills, how you don't see that valuable? That's giving you more free time to be home. That's giving you more free time to be free. And we don't see it that way. I don't know what's going on, but I ask people every day, who the hell are you trying to fool? When you tell somebody that you're paying 100% of bills and you don't care if somebody can come in and pay half of it, you're a level of slow on a whole nother spectrum. Like you slow. I'm sorry, I don't care what nobody say. If a person is paying 100% of bills and somebody takes half of that away from you and contribute half, and you don't see that as a blessing, you slow. I'm sorry, you slow. Like I'm talking about like slow, little bus, like real slow, like slow. Like it don't make no sense. That don't even make no, yo bro, if I got $100,000 in bills and I meet a woman and she said, give me 50,000 of your bills, man, I'm gonna hug the hell out of this girl, man. I even make it lower. If I got $5,000 of bills and somebody say, yo, I'm gonna cut that into 2,500 of those bills, I'm covering it. And you don't see that as ill? I don't know where the hell people's logic is. There's a lady that said, I'd rather be single than have a man pay half of my bills. I said, your mother and father messed up with you. They fumbled so bad. Like I'm talking about, you were the kid that was dropped from the top bunk. You know, we used to do top bunks. You fell from the top bunk too many times because something is wrong with your brain. That don't make no goddamn sense. That don't make no goddamn sense. And the sad part is most relationships today are definitely 50-50. Everyone gotta stop watching celebrities, man. They gotta stop watching celebrities. Celebrities are brainwashing y'all. You got men that are scared to get married who don't have nothing, talk about they don't want to lose their stuff. You gonna lose your bike? You gonna lose your bike. You gonna lose your whole bike. Come on. You gonna lose your bicycle. Like, come on. Guys, we gotta get out of this weirdness. Our culture is getting weirder and weirder and weirder and weirder. We are weird as hell. A woman could never be in competition with me because I'm damn sure in competition with no woman. And I'm damn sure ain't in competition with no man. I'm in competition with the man I was yesterday, trying to be the better version of myself today than I was yesterday. Every day, I'm fighting to be a better version of myself the next day. I don't give a damn about what no man and no woman doing. I'm in competition with the man in the mirror. Every single day, I'm competing to be a better version of myself. I don't give a damn about what everybody else got going on. I'm not gonna get delusional with what society is trying to teach. Because while they brainwashing you, I'm getting rich. They putting a blindfold over your eyes and fooling you to worry about things that don't even goddamn matter. Things that don't matter. I don't care what man sleeping with man. I don't care about those things. You know what I care about? How can I give my family a better starting point than what I've had? That's what I care about. And it makes sense that if you can bring a person in that can add value to what I'm building and help speed up the process, I think that's called being smart. But I ask every day, who the hell are you trying to fool? There are people that learn something called, yo, I want you all to hear this. Defense mechanisms is when you know something is wrong, but you created a mechanism to deflect how you truly feel. If I say something to you like, yo, I can hook you up with a man, ladies. he could pay half of your bills, and you say something like, I don't want no man that gonna pay no half of my bills, you probably ain't never had a man pay a bill for you. Because most of y'all grew up without dads. So the fact of the matter is, God sent you somebody to say, here you go for the mess of the father I gave you. I dropped the ball with your father, but now I'm going to give you a good man that can help you pay bills, and you're going to drop the ball with him. Because you know why? You never learn how to catch. Damn. That went over somebody's head. I know that went over somebody's head. God dropped the ball with our fathers, gave you somebody that can help you build your life, and you didn't even learn how to catch. You couldn't even catch a decent man if he was thrown to you. Some of you guys can't catch a decent woman if she was thrown at you. Because a lot of y'all don't realize that what is a healthy relationship? What is a healthy relationship? Two imperfect people coming together imperfectly, accepting each other's imperfectly ways, and building together. That's a relationship. Y'all so comfortable with situationships that y'all don't even understand what a relationship entails. A relationship is about building. As a relationship is about elevation. I was going on one vacation a year. You get in a relationship, now you're doing 3. I was eating peanut butter and jelly, and now we got steak. I was crying about my light bill. Now somebody else pays the light bill. I had one car in my driveway. Now you have multiple cars in your driveway. This is what a healthy relationship entails. Right? It's about building, elevating, growing, doing more. But again, if men and women don't work on themselves, they're going to keep working on each other in a negative way. That's all you're seeing. Unlogical people who are emotionally unstable, screaming and yelling about how they hate each other online. And this is our problem. The competition isn't men and women. The competition is two people that can't get their stuff together. Because I'm going to tell you something. There's one thing to say you're a millionaire, but it's sad when you got to share it by yourself. It's one thing to say you're a millionaire, but it's sad that you got to share it by yourself. There's a lot of lonely, successful people out here, too. A lot of lonely, successful people out here. Because a lot of times there are men that'll use you, and there are women that'll use you, too. So as I say, who the hell are we trying to fool, guys? We've created these defense mechanisms to the point where we say things that sound good, but they sound dumb. I think some people, before they say anything, they should say it out loud. Once you say it out loud, you're going to realize you sound crazy as hell. You sound crazy. A lot of people be sounding crazy as hell. Somebody say you can't trust nobody. That's cap. You got to learn how to trust yourself. You don't trust you. That's why you don't trust nobody. Because a lot of times we project, and you projecting how you feel about yourself. And sometimes you got people that be like, oh, I can't trust nobody. You can't trust nobody because you can't trust yourself. You need to work on yourself. Because I'm going to tell you something. Once you start working on yourself, God will start putting people in your life that actually are who you are. That's the issue. A lot of people that aren't good. There are a lot of good people out here that are really good people. But again, you're going to keep looking past those people because sometimes we have something called types. There are a lot of people that are attracted to horrible people. Tall, dark, and handsome. Yeah, he could be a horrible man. She got a big butt, but guess what? It could be fake. The world is just fake. Who cares about that? What about her brain? Can I have a conversation with her past sex? Can I have a conversation with her past sex? Can I have a conversation with her past sex? Right? Can you have a conversation with him, ladies, past his pockets? And how much money he makes? I'm going to tell you something. When you sit back and evaluate it, long term, a lot of us are going to be fooled into believing that things matter that didn't matter. And one day we're going to wake up by ourselves because we chose things that put us in a position to be by ourselves and ultimately living by ourselves, crying about the by ourselves bills because we couldn't learn how to cooperate. A lot of people are not cooperative. They're very selfish. The other day I told this guy, he said to me, yo, I can't find no good woman. I said, every time I turn around, you talking bad about women. So you don't think they feel what I feel? I'll chill with you and I feel that you despise women. So then you think that the woman that's dating you ain't gonna realize you despise her? There are women that despise men too. They despise men. They can't stand men. And this is why you'll never get a man. Look at the word projection. Every one of my lives. Yes, you raise your hand. Yes or no. Do you believe that words have value? You believe words have value? Words have value, right? Words have value. Ladies and gentlemen, do y'all believe that words have value? The power of the tongue, right? Somebody said yes. Right? Words have value. Somebody else said yes. Somebody else said yes. Right? Words have value. Okay. Now watch this. How many times have you heard women say, I don't need a man? This is why they keep getting little boys. Every time you turn around, women say they don't need men. That's why they keep getting little boys. Every time you turn around, men say they don't need women. That's why they keep getting little girls. They're going to keep giving you the opposite. You don't need a man, so I'm going to give you a little boy. You don't need a woman, so I'm going to give you a little girl. You're going to keep getting it because you're the one that's keep pushing people away with your tongue, the things you're saying. I don't need no man. Yep, they got another little boy. He going to play with your feelings. And you say you don't need a man? Someone call in right now, 516-253-1150. 516-253-1150. Let's talk about it. I'm asking the culture, who are we trying to fool? Who are we trying to fool? Because I realize that the only person you're fooling is yourself. No one is going to save nobody. No one's going to fix nobody. And I'm going to keep it 100 with you. No man or no woman is responsible for the trauma that you came from. It is not comfortable, she be wilding or he be wilding, and then you blaming what you've been through. You shouldn't even be in a relationship until you fix and work on yourself. Self-control is everything, right? Emotional intelligence is everything, right? And this is what we don't want to do. We don't want to hold ourselves accountable to our decisions. We don't want to look in the mirror. Because I'm going to tell you somebody on this live right now, they're scared of what they see when they look in the mirror. They're not attracted to who they're becoming. A lot of people are insecure about what they're doing and not realizing that it's themselves doing it. I'm going to tell you something. The worst thing you could do is self-sabotage. I used to be a creature of self-sabotaging. It's sad that you can get a good woman, but you're so bad psychologically that you're going to actually hurt that good woman. It's so sad that there's a lot of women who are not good women who will get a good man and hurt that good man and then realize that God is going to keep giving you his sons and his daughters to keep hurting. What man or woman is going to keep giving you his children to keep hurting? Think about it. He knows you disrespect women. So he's going to give you the best woman that he's created and he's going to let you break her too. Man, you smoking. Come on, bro. Come on, man. Come on, man. Who you trying to fool, bro? Yo, brothers. And I'm going to talk to y'all like men. We're going to have this real discussion. Let's stop getting offended every time women say certain aspects of manhood that a man should be at. And if a man isn't at that, he shouldn't be dating. If a man ain't in a position where he can provide, protect, and create security for a woman, he shouldn't even be entertaining women. He should be working on himself. I'm not saying you can't find a woman that's comfortable with y'all having intercourse and y'all just chilling. When we talking about getting into a relationship, knowing that you're prematurely ready for a relationship is a level of diabolicalness. Because you know what's going to come with it. She's going to start saying things like, let's be real. You ain't the man you think you are. You don't got your life together. And it's okay as long as you can accept that you don't and you honest with your truth. Sure, I'm working on myself. I got more work to do. And if she respects that, then you know you got yourself a real one. But the fact that you have to pretend to be in a position you're not to get what you want from this woman, only lying to yourself. Because eventually the truth will come out. And a lot of people haven't been set free because they don't know the truth. Because they say the truth shall set you free. A lot of people need to let themselves free and just be honest with themselves. There's nothing wrong with learning. There's nothing wrong with growing. There's nothing wrong with figuring it out. But you got to realize after a certain amount of time, a woman don't think you figured it out. She think you trying to play her. So in the process of you trying to figure it out, the woman gonna think you just trying to play her. Especially if your work ethic ain't matching what you're saying. It's not matching. It's not matching. I'm sorry. It's gonna create a level of insecurity in her on a whole nother spectrum. She gonna start talking crazy. And you can't get mad because she's in her feelings. Right? These men, y'all gotta start working on not looking at the women that want the whole village to see them. Start looking at the women that want to be seen just by you. Let me say that again. You men need to stop working on women who want to be seen by the whole village and start working on the women that see you. And the issue is y'all want these women that see the whole village and want to be seen by the whole village. And y'all don't go after the woman that want to be seen by you and that appreciate you looking at her. There are women that want everybody to tell them that they're attractive and sexy. And there are women that want you to tell them that they're attractive and sexy. There are women that want to be loved by the world, and there are women that want to be loved by you. You got to know there's a major difference. And once you learn that there's a major difference, you start acting like there's a major difference. Every woman don't want attention from everybody. But from the right guy, that woman wants attention. But that's also when you found a woman, right? And this is the difference. We don't learn what is a woman. You don't have to teach a woman respect because a woman naturally respects herself. A woman ain't gonna talk down on a man because of the fact that she's insecure about herself. A man won't do that either. When you see two people doing that, it's because they're insecure with themselves. Naturally, it is human instinct to hurt somebody you love because of the fact that you not loving yourself. Anytime you meet a woman, ladies, and you see he's not loving himself, he will never be able to love you. Man, anytime you see a woman who's not in love with herself will never be able to love you. And I'm not talking about no faulty love. I'm talking about that real love, right? Somebody said, what if you do, read that, Tyler. It's on a slant, so I can't see it, guys.
Troy Armstrong said, what if you do for her parents and grandma and try to show your loyalty, but it's not appreciated?
And stop showing your loyalty. Troy, you know your value. You know your worth. And I'm just being honest with you. Appreciation is a self thing. And you know when you're doing things and they don't appreciate it, that means stop doing it. It's that simple. Because I'm going to tell you something. If a person don't love you the way you want to be loved, stop asking for the love from them. Stop asking for the love. Because the number one thing a human can do is learn to love himself, right? And once you learn to love yourself, it don't matter what anybody else say or do. The number one mission is loving yourself and finding peace. Once you find your peace and you love yourself, you have completed the human. And there's God in the midst of that. So you got God, loving yourself, and you at peace. Man, that is the ultimate fulfillment that a human can have. I watch people get on my live and my social media platforms and talk crazy about me. I don't really care because I love myself. And I'm going to continue to do this. And if I trigger an emotion, just know my goal is not to hurt your feelings. I don't even know you. But my goal is to project truth. In order for us to fix ourselves, we got to work on ourselves. We got to heal ourselves. Our culture is really going down to the bottom of nothing. And we still pointing the finger at people that have no control over us as humans. We still point the finger at people that have no control over us as humans. When you hear people say, oh, because we don't got no money in our community because y'all keep spending money with other companies that don't get back to your community. So who's the problem? Who's the problem? And I'm just talking logical. But again, somebody gonna get offended. Oh, he always trying to protect. Man, he ain't trying to protect nobody. We gonna change what we can change, and then we gonna work around with the things we can't change. But the things we can change, we gonna work on it. We ain't gonna keep pointing the finger at anybody else and not looking at ourselves. We know we got more power than we give ourselves, right? We got way more power. Black dollars, we make over 2-point-something trillion. You wanna read that, Tyler? Yeah.
So Blicky Ricky Honey said, I'm not here to argue, but money can buy peace. I was facing some charges, finally made bail. LOL, just saying I'm at major peace now. I get it.
But you say you made bail, I mean the case ain't over, brother. I'm just saying. Read that again. Read it again to yourself. Bail means you're not in confinement, but there's still a case going. So therefore, guess what? You still can go to jail, my good brother. Sounds amazing, but if you said that out loud, I don't think you would have wrote that. I don't think you would have wrote that. Think about that. If I made bail, that means I can still go to jail. It's just I'm not sitting in jail. Yes, you on borrowed time. That is not peace. I understand what you said, Ricky, and I respect it because I understand maybe you were when you was in a situation where you were very unhappy with, but you got to worry about getting that case dismissed, brother. You got an uphill battle against you. It's not over, so don't think it's over. You know what I'm saying? If you told me your case got thrown out, then I'm like, you got a good lawyer and the case got thrown out, then we could be having a different conversation, right? But I'm just speaking logical. Been there, done that. I know how that situation go. But I'm just saying to my people on here right now, somebody asked me a question right now, and I'm reading it off right now. I got my guys in the studio, they reading it off right now. Any questions? Any questions before we get out of here today? Someone said that's not peace. I agree with you. That ain't peace. Right? Sounded good for a second, though. He thought he said something. You my guy, though, but you thought you said something, Ricky. I love you, boy. So listen, don't just know I ain't trying to play you. I don't be trying to play my people. I love y'all, man. And I don't be trying to hurt nobody's feelings. I'm not into that. Right?
Duet Queen said, is it okay for a husband to ask for half?
Half of what?
Yeah, explain the situation. You can call in if you would like.
Call in right now, matter of fact, yeah.
516-253-1150. Call in.
Duet Queen, explain it to me. I can't just go off of 3 words. Is it okay for a husband to ask half of bills? It depends on how much money you make too. Like sometimes you have women that are in a position that make more money than they man. So the man just like, yo, let's just pay half. And a lot of times, I'm gonna be honest with you, a lot of the times the men be trying to keep up with the lifestyle that a lot of these women be wanting. Yeah, I gotta admit, right? Right? He make more. See, I don't think that's comfortable. I wouldn't do that. I'm gonna be honest with you, Duet Queen. I wouldn't do that. But it depends on the relationship y'all have too. I don't know. You only work 8 hours a day or 8 hours a week?
If you feel comfortable, call in.
Yeah, call in right now. Call him right now. 516. She only work 8 hours a week. Yeah, I don't think that's fair. But let me ask you something. What is the aesthetics of your relationship? Do y'all fight a lot? Do y'all not fight a lot? Are y'all in a space where y'all feel like y'all a team? Because I'm gonna tell you something. Y'all wouldn't even be having this conversation if y'all were really a team. And chances are y'all probably not a team, right? Somebody said that. Read that. Tell her.
Blicky Ricky says, in a relationship, it needs to be 100-100. Everyone used to 50-50, so where your other 50% going?
Yo, Ricky, you made up for yourself. Let me give it up for you. You made up for yourself. Look, he wasn't trying to let this podcast end with that one. You made up for yourself, Ricky. Go ahead.
Duet Queen says he feels like a roommate.
But ask yourself why. And this is where you have to be honest with yourself now. 9 out of 10 times we point the finger at our mates, but we're not seeing why this relationship become like this. I don't know what you've done or what he didn't do or what he did to create this roommate. Because initially, when y'all got married to love each other. And it was for better, for worse. She said his family. So my question is, have you ever went to counseling with this man and sat down with him and expressed to him how you genuinely feel? Don't say yeah and lie. Have you really went to counseling with this person? Because sometimes we speak to speak. We don't speak to hear each other. He'll give to his family first, but I don't know what his family situation is. I don't know. I don't know why he feels so obligated to help them. You know, that could be a trauma response for himself. Well, that's all he had growing up. I don't know. But I do believe that this is a conversation you need to get a little deeper rooted to see why he feels the way he feels, right? And so therefore, have you ever went to counseling with him? You know what I'm saying? You should call him. Yeah, let's go do a one-on-one. Let's go sit down with somebody. You can hit the link in my bio, book a one-on-one with me. I'll talk to you and him. See, you try. That's the problem. You got to stop trying. You got to let other people try too. See, the one thing about a relationship, they say that people shouldn't be in your relationship. I hate when people say that because that's not true. The right people should be involved in your relationship because I'm going to tell you something about relationships. Every relationship should have a couple for mentorship. Every relationship should have a couple that's financial mentorship, and everyone should have a spiritual couple that they can go to when things are not going the way they want. See, everybody be like, I don't have nobody in my relationship. That's why your relationship failing. Because you need somebody to give y'all an outside look on each other. Look at you, look at him. And who's going to play neutral, who's not going to be a judgmental person, who he respects and who you respect. And y'all both can go to like, yo, what do you think about this? And this person will be able to get through to him and he'll be able to get through to you. That's healthy relationships. And I think that's what we lost as a people. My grandmother, my mother, they going to say how they feel about my relationship. They ain't biting their tongue. And if I'm wrong, my mother's OD. My mother going to make sure she know I'm wrong. You wrong as hell. Right in front of her. I'm like, damn, you could have said it when she left. My mother don't care. My mother don't take sides. If you're wrong, my mother gonna tell you. But I'm just telling you straight up. And that's one thing I value about my mother. But everybody's mother not like that. But in the same breath, you have to put people in your life that can help you.
They on his side when he wrong.
See, that's why he goes to them, because they cater to his ego. But again, you have to teach, humbly show him that he's wrong by using somebody that you both respect. Go to him and be like, yo, how about we do a one-on-one with somebody like this? It could be a counselor, it could be a therapist, it could be anybody. And y'all sit with this person and y'all just talk about your problems and let this person be a mediator. Because if not, you're gonna continue to be at the same point every single year, every day. Nothing's gonna change again if you don't change something, right? He could get time. If he wants to, we make time for what we want. So don't let him fool you with that crap. We make time for what we want. Just so you know that. Every human, man or woman, makes time for what they want. I'm saying, I appreciate you more. Somebody answer that. Read that, Tyler.
Paris Moore says, why do some women feel like a good man are too good to be true when you do all the right things? Good question.
Say it again. Why do some women feel like a good man are too good to be true when you do all the right things? It's because she's been hurt. She's been hurt. You know what I'm saying? It's just what it is. If you've been hurt, you're always going to have a level of skepticism. The person is skeptic because they've been hurt before. And then you just got to show them that they're not you're not that last person. And a lot of times it's because that person didn't heal. If you still looking at your past, the person will never be able to see what's in front of them, which is their future. Because in most cases, when a person has been through or she's been through something bad, they tend to bring that over to the next relationship and the luggage that they have from the last relationship. That's why every time you're intimate with somebody, every time you're in a relationship with somebody, you always carry luggage over to the next situation. So you got to be careful when you're moving on because you got to heal first. You want to read that or no? What Troy say?
I respect you. So why is it I get them through school situations with their kids and then say, I don't need a man for nothing?
That's a defense mechanism. She's been doing that as a way of survival. The things that you ever had a job and you know you need a job and the job got you so mad you be like, I'll quit this job right now knowing damn well you don't want to quit. That's a defense mechanism. And that's when people talk like that, they're not in their logic, they're in their feelings. But sometimes you can't allow that person's talk to make you feel like what you know isn't true. If this person don't appreciate you, then that's on you to step out and leave the situation. Otherwise, you have to understand that could be the person just being deflective and defensive because of what they've been through. A lot of people live like that. And that's how we've learned how to survive. A lot of us survive off of lying to ourselves. And it's sad that that's become our culture, where people, I don't give a damn, meanwhile they really do care. And the only person that's gonna be in that room crying by themselves is them. But she could be hurting inside internally, hurting herself, knowing that she's hurting. But she says it to you because she's hurting. When she says that next time, right? And I challenge you, Troy, you hear me? When she says, I don't need a man, go up to her and give her a hug and say, you need this man. You heard me, Troy? The next time a woman says to you, I don't need a man, go up to her and hug her and say, you need this man. And let her know it's okay. Because her whole life could have been a lot of men hurting her to the point where she feels like every man is going to continue to hurt her. So sometimes you got to know your mate. You got to learn your mate and understand what they've been through because we are a reflection of what we've been through. And sometimes when you see somebody, they look clean and good, you can't see their bruises that's internally. So sometimes you look at a person like, oh my God, they look good, but you don't know what they've been through. Right what I'm saying? We're going to drop another, we're going to close off this episode today. We're going to drop a track before we get out of here today. Right? But I'm just saying, Troy, just make sure you go to her and give her a hug the next time the woman say, I don't need a man. Tell her you need this man. I'm saying, let her know it's okay. It's safe. So ladies, the next time your man say, I don't need a woman, hug him and say, you need this woman. You need this woman, right? I'm not like the other ones. Because a lot of people have been hurt so much that they don't even know how to accept love. Till next time, guys. Don't let that go over your head.